All right, Akaree Barbour, welcome to Simon Says Top Politics. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing, Simon. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It took us a second to get our schedules to align, but I'm finally glad
Yes.
we could meet. I want to talk to you about your upbringing, your background, your campaign for CDA Black Caucus National Secretary. But before we get into all that, tell me about growing up in Alabaster.
Yes, well, hi, I'm Akari. I've kind of didn't always grow up in Alabaster. Fun fact, I moved to Alabaster when I was going in third grade. Before that, controversial, I lived in Hoover, actually, fun fact, for about first, second grade, and kindergarten, I lived in Hoover. And then after I went to Alabaster, but before that, I did live in Detroit, Michigan for like 6 months, and then I came to Alabaster, then I came to Hoover, then Alabaster. But growing up in Alabaster was honestly so much fun. It was always a sense of community. Like growing up, I've always had friends in like every single class I would go to, especially in middle school and like later years of middle school and high school, like kind of like after COVID-19. I was always making friends, like being going to sporting events, community wise, and being in. It was such a big city anyway because like we're still growing a city right now, but even as kind of like a growing school and a growing community and going to a high school where we have at least 2,000 people in our high school, just let alone, it was always like you knew everyone everywhere you went. So it's always just very much of a community, just a family overall.
What are some of those core memories that you have growing up there? Is there anything else, or is there anything that sticks out to you?
Yes, core memories. First of all, I was in my THS TV class. It was kind of like journalism based, and we have our whole news shows and everything like that. And Miss Christina Chambers, our advisor, she was just so much fun and such a passionate person for her art and what she did in journalism. And that class as a whole throughout my 4 years, it was an academy based class. And that class and growing in that class and in that field was just so much fun. And seeing my kind of like my class TV people, like all of us grow together, like grow our art and our form, how we recorded things, told our stories throughout the art too. That was such a nice community because honestly, we got the chance to go out in Alabaster to record things, do interviews with the mayor and not no, the mayor and our superintendent and our principal and tell their stories and also in a way tell our stories too as we develop these stories.
You lived in Hoover for a little bit. Which elementary school did you go to by chance?
I really don't know, honestly. That was such
Okay.
a long time ago. Honestly, I can't lie. Coming to Alabaster and like them being rival schools, I like faded Hoover. Can't lie.
Okay. Because I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a Hoover guy, and I went to Tres Crossings for 3 years. I went to a private school for a little bit, then came back for high school, Hoover High School. So
Okay,
you're Thompson, you're Alabama, I'm Hoover, I'm Auburn. We're on the
like we're
we're on
just
every single opposite right now. But
we really are opposites.
yeah, we are. It's all right though. Um, Speaking of Alabama, you are a current Alabama student.
Yeah.
What made you want to go to Alabama?
My always for my whenever people ask for my why of Alabama, I've always said, I'm not gonna lie, my first choice was not Alabama. Fun fact, it was always UC Irvine. I've always wanted to go there. I got in, I got decent amount of money, but I did apply to Alabama as a safety net. I also got a lot of money from Alabama, a lot of money that I'm truly grateful for. But my parents told me if I go to UC Irvine, which is all the way in California, I'd have to work and I'd have to like be a working student. And I was just like, wait, no, guys, I don't need that my first year. They're like, so California's really expensive to live there. We gotta make something work. And I was like, I'll go to Alabama, guys. And so coming to Alabama, it wasn't my first choice. And at first, in August, I did for like, oh, this is not my home. But once I got more involved, more in like depth in Alabama culture, more just making my own community, making my own ways in Alabama, and telling my own story once again, and building my brand there. And here, it became my home so fast. Like my friend has always said, you can make a small campus feel, you can make a big campus feel small, but you cannot make a small campus feel big.
And what are you majoring in at Alabama?
Right now, I'm a double major in marketing and political science with a minor in English.
What do you kind of hope to do after college with those degrees?
I kind of have a couple like pipelines I could go down. Right now, I'm still trying to like, figure out exactly what I do want to do because I do need to start preparing for like my future early on as early as possible, which is something that I want to do for sure. But one way that I'm most leaning to, I want to go to law school, and I don't know which law school I want to go to yet, so don't stress me out. But I do want to go to law school, and if I do go to law school, I want to either do malpractice law or entertainment law. Those are things that I just find will be very interesting overall. But if I don't go to law school, then I want to either become work in like political campaigns, like marketing wise, logistics, behind the scenes wise for political campaigns, because I've always had a passion for politics and like policy overall. And then also, if I don't do that route, then I want to go to corporate marketing and just do marketing for brands.
You mentioned Alabama being a really big campus, and you have a friend that mentioned that you can make a big campus feel small. What organizations are you involved with on Alabama's campus?
Yes, honestly, organizations that I'm involved with a couple organizations on campus, such as Admissions Ambassador, a Student Government Association. I also, one big one that I really am involved with is Black Student Union. And that's one that when I came to Alabama, I really wanted to join because I was like, I've always gone kind of like going to a PWI, so I was kind of like the odd one out all the time. And so going to Alabama, I wanted to join the Black Student Union and find my sense of not identity, but my sense of community first within my own race first, and then branch out too, because it's kind of like you want to find your own people first before you kind of outreach to everyone else. And so I wanted to find that consistent belongingness within my community first, coming to Alabama. And so joining Black Student Union allowed me to do that. And then it also opened doors for me for so many other things. Like I met my friend Savannah Strong, and there where she's helped me get connections to so many other organizations, such as SGA. I served on her cabinet for SGA too. I met people from Mission Ambassador, told me I should apply to Mission Ambassador, things like that. From Crimson Scholars, I met my friend Alexis through there. And so joining Black Student Union first opened doors for so many doors I'm in right now, and it's just I'm so grateful for that club organization. I still am very much involved in the organization.
And what position do you hold in Alabama's Black Student Union?
I serve as the director of programming right now. So basically, what I do is I plan all the kind of like our small events, kind of like our like more just membership events. Things people if you're paying a member, I make those events. So kind of like our murder mystery night, our forums we do, our panel when we host panels, I plan those events.
I gotcha. I do want to jump over to your campaign for CDA Black Caucus National Secretary now. Tell me about what you're running for. Tell me about what you're running on.
Okay, so basically my platform is basically what it is. It's not just visibility; it is being heard and being seen. Because whoa, what the fart? Visibility is basically just we hear you, but we might not act on that. But for me, I want to hear you, listen to you, and act on that, which is why I have so many things like it's just like one-on-one times with everyone, like my newsletters, my town halls, my centralized hub for things like membership forums, things like that, and why I put so much emphasis on not just my social media campaign, but also connecting with members through emails, DMs, text on GroupMe, things like that, which is what I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes on for my campaign. And that's helped me so much like grow my campaign because I've always said my campaign slogan is kind of build with Barbour. And so, but I remember one of the members told me, let me reach quote exactly. He said, "We're not just the future of the organization, we are part of its presence," which we've always heard, be better for the future. But this member, he reminded me that we don't want to be better for the future. We want to be better for the now because we are the present. We are not just the future. We are the present for us now. And so that reminded me saying, wait, I need to stop just worrying about, okay, how do I make this better like for later people? I need to make this better for the people who are in it now because why are we building up our membership when we can't maintain our current members and make them feel more seen, more heard, more relatable? And so my platform is just building a way to just connect with members one-on-one, make those friendly connections, honestly see them as not just as, oh, you're my chair, you're my secretary, but see them as you're someone I can actually email to if I have any suggestions, any advice to give to them, someone that I can connect to if I want to have a guest speaker, something like they can call to connect with them. And that's what my platform is because as someone who's been inside of a leadership and inside of a general body member, I don't want anyone to just feel that they're just there just for the number count or they're just there to just be there. I want them to be there and be heard and be there and feel seen when they're there.
Now, you mentioned that you've been in leadership before and just a general position. What other leadership position did you hold in the Black Caucus?
I currently serve in the mainly outside of the Black Caucus. I serve for BYD, Birmingham Young Democrats, I serve as the communication director. And that position, I was just elected recently, but even that position, it's done me so much more. I've talked to RJ more often, Summerfield, things like that, and they've given me the words. I'm just like, this has honestly shaped me up so much more. And even within my other leadership positions outside of the Black Caucus and at BYD, like SGA, things like that, it's just like I feel different being on other sides of the spectrum, like being in BSU and then joining the executive board in BSU. It's just like I see different sides of it now, and I understand where the members can be coming from time, but also see where the executive board is coming from. And I just feel like I've always wanted to just be like, we just need to be more transparent with literally any organization I'm a part of. I just feel like we need to be more transparent with anything, like what we're doing, why we're taking so long for certain things to happen, why we don't respond as quickly, why we don't do these things as quickly. So
I'm curious about this. Was this something that you sat down and told yourself, you know what, this is something I'm going to run for? Or did somebody come to you and said, hey, I think you should run for this? What was that process of deciding to run like?
It was honestly RJ Summerfields. They came to me and they told me that, Akaree, you should run for this. And I ran for Senate for SJ, and it was honestly a crazy process. But Summer was like, Akaree, And I didn't win my election, and I was honestly heartbroken. But I was just still so grateful for the networking connections, the thing I did with my term, and people still ask me saying, "What do you want to do after that election? What was your plans if you don't win?" And having them ask me those questions made me really like think about, okay, if I don't win, what are my next steps for that? And so coming from that Senate race to this Black Caucus race, it's kind of just like I know if I don't win, what I want to do after. I still want to be give encouragement to the national secretary, whoever wins, to give encouragement to the whole e-board for them. And then back to the main question, Summerfield and RJ told me to run for there, like, are you perfect for this? We want you to run for this. We want you for this position. You would be the perfect fit for the position. I was like, and honestly, I was terrified. I was like, I've never done anything on a national level. I've only like the biggest thing I've done is state level things. And even then when I do those things, sometimes people get terrified. I get nervous. My palms get sweaty, and I'm like, guys, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. So that was just like hearing from them, like, you would be perfect for that, and hearing their encouragement and helping me walk them through my early days of the campaign was just like so much helpful, because I was just like, guys, I was lost at first, and then just having them behind my back sometimes, and helping like them like become like, okay, girl, it's what you should do in your early days, kind of like helping like form my way, like my footing in a way, helped me a lot.
You mentioned just a second ago that whether you win or you lose, you are running against Keyshawn Ward, and I actually spoke with him the other day, and I talked with him about his platform. I don't want to like put the two of you truly against each other, but what makes you the better pick?
Honestly, I've seen his campaign. His campaign looks amazing. I can't lie. He seems like a very fake candidate for this too. But for my own side, I would just say not to put him down or anything. I don't want to bash his campaign at all, because I've seen his campaigns. Once again, they're both him and his campaign companion. They're doing amazing jobs with their whole campaign, their whole message behind it. But for me, I just feel like what kind of like not really sets me apart, but like kind of like gives me one up in a way, or just not really that either, because like I don't feel like I'm getting one up because he has one up on me too. It's just like I feel like my whole campaign is just I'm building this. I'm not just building connections. I'm not just going for building transparency. I'm building connections for the members. I'm building for you guys, not for myself. I'm not trying to get a resume builder. I'm not building for just me, myself, and I'm building for you. This campaign is for you, and it's being shaped by you. And what I've done, and what I mean by that is I've reached out to members, I've talked to members, I've gotten feedback from my own campaign. I've actually, that quote I just said earlier about the we need to build for the not we need to build for the present, not just the future. That quote is from a member thatself. What I put on my Google form. I've been reading Google forms. I've been taking notes. I can't lie. My whole document, my whole notes for this interview is just their quotes that they told me, things that they want to see happen in Black Caucus. When I mentioned the centralized hub for just Black Caucus members, or just Caucus members in general of the CDA, kind of having a centralized hub for all of them, not just the Black Caucus. That came from a member. A member told me that they want to see more interaction within the other Black Caucus, like Black Caucus and Women's Caucus, or LGBTQ Caucus and Women's Caucus, like them like work together. That came from other members. So I'm not just going off my own platform. I'm building from them, and so I feel like I have them behind me, and they're helping me build my campaign up. And I feel like having that membership connection early on, not even as the national secretary, hopefully not yet. It's just I'm already building those connections with them, and that I feel like that will overall just help me if I will be elected in this position.
If Keyshawn were to win the election, would you still be able to work with him in some capacity, some regard, and helping him succeed?
Yes, I would love to work with him. He seems like we haven't talked yet, which I mean to honestly text him. So like, you just reminded me. Thank you so much. But he just seems such like a very passionate person, especially with his message for HBCUs and having them feel heard too. Like my message, I just want the overall to be heard, but he wants HBCUs to be heard too, because that is also a very important thing for them to be heard too. That message is so important because HBCUs don't always get heard a lot, and that's so discrediting sometimes for them, because they do so much for the Black community and just Black Caucus too. And so his message, I'm just like, if he does win this election, I wish you the best, and I'm so happy. And if you need any help, please reach out to me. If you want my ideas or you want to use my platform, take them, please. Like, I would be just so happy just to see that someone that truly cares in this position. I feel like either way it goes, me or him, it will be a position that we fill to the best.
You mentioned a second ago that you had a handful of notes of quotes. What are some of those other quotes? I'm interested to hear what some of the other people have told you.
One of them was like, once again, I would love to see a centralized member hub that brings everything together in one place. Members are far more likely to stay engaged when they know what is happening and understand how they can get involved and how easy it is to access resources they need. Which that really opened my eyes to. I feel like some of the members don't feel like they were being included and theirs as numbers, which once again encouraged me to be like, we need to just stop counting numbers and rely on them and not just as numbers. We need to see them as people and connect with them more often and reach out to them more often, ask for feedback, which is what I want to do with the bi-weekly newsletters, the town hall meetings, inviting guest speakers that they request upon, and things like that. What else is in the I encourage intentional engagement of collegiate and young members beyond election season. When they said beyond election season, that honestly means so, because they just said I encourage engagement of collegiate and young members beyond election season. That means so much, because a lot of times with elections we see, or just like these are kind of like school elections or just anything like any kind of election we see them say a message, but we never see them act on this message. And them saying beyond election season, that means so much, because I've noticed a lot of times that people would run into platform, and that platform would honestly die out by month 2 or by month 1. And so them saying that, it's just like they want to see someone be in a position that's actually going to do the work, that we're willing to get their hands on, that's willing to do the late hours, the rough nights, things like that. And I'm willing to do that 100%.
What makes you so politically passionate? Was there a moment in your early life that inspired this, or is this a newer thing? Tell me about that.
Honestly, I don't really have a story that like really inspired me. My mom has always said, Akari, you're gonna be a politician. You're gonna be a politician, Akari. And I was like, oh, why do you say that? And she was like, I don't know, like, but once my mom is my mom's intuition, it's a mother intuition. Whatever she says, it's gonna happen. Not in like a I boss you around, but it's always just like she can see the future. I promise you that. I don't know what it is, but she sees the future. And my mom, she's always said, from a young age, before I even said, oh, I'm going to college, I wanted to study political science in college. She knew I was going to be in politics some way, shape, or form. And in high school, when at first I applied to Alabama as a journalism major. When I did that, I wanted to do journalism. I wanted to do more so journalism on politics, report political stories. And then even going to in college now, switch my major to poli sci marketing. I wanted to work on political campaigns. It's just like no matter what, I'm always being drawn back to politics. And what makes me want to do politics so bad is because, or just go into that atmosphere, and not even just like in a like election season, but just the atmosphere in general. It says a lot of times, especially with young voters, especially with a lot of voters in general, not just young voters, they don't feel heard or seen with what's going on in the world just in general. And I just feel like, especially like this, like it starts right now, especially with CDA, it starts with them. Me helping them feel heard and seen. It's going to encourage them to be more active within their life, within their politics, within what they do in their world and their day-to-day life. It's going to encourage them to get more active. Like, okay, we actually are being seen and heard when someone is relating to us on personal, when they're connecting with us, and encourage them to go out and vote. Because some people just don't believe that their vote does count a lot, which is crazy sometimes. I think that they believe that their vote doesn't count because they're like, oh no, they do an overall, guys. Our vote doesn't really count. No, it does count. It does matter if you go out and vote, because truly, your voice does matter. Yes, it might be one of millions, but your voice does matter at the end of the day.
What are some of the issues that are really near and dear to your heart that you would love to see improved on, whether it be at a state level or national level?
Well, like I said earlier, the whole just young voters and just getting more involved, because I've met people on the Bama campus that says, oh yeah, I'm registered, but I didn't go home and vote, or I didn't want to go home and vote. And I'm like, guys, you don't have to go home. You can get a mail-in ballot. I got a mail-in ballot for my local elections. That's what I did. I did early election. I literally went home early and I voted early. And I was like, guys, like, there's other ways. If you're at college or you're doing this thing, you can do other things to prevent that. And so it's getting more young voters involved overall, just like at the state and national level, because a lot of people are just saying, oh, they don't count mail-in ballots. I'm like, guys, yes, they do, guys. They all matter. Like, please, guys, lock in, guys. This is getting scary. And then also just like, overall, just like one thing that I've been keeping a lot with was the birthright citizenship. That one was really recent. I'm actually the cliche answer. I know that's cliche, guys. I know that's really recent, but I'm just like, wow, that's like such like a craze how they're trying to like kind of like not really kind of like overturn it in a way to like change it. And I'm like, that's like such like a dear and close to your person to my heart, because I know a lot of people who parents weren't born here, but they were born here, and so they're just like, what's gonna happen? Like, they're just like, I'm confused about that now. But that's one thing that I've been keeping up on with, and just overall, yeah.
Is there anything else about your campaign that you want to touch on or add that maybe we didn't talk about?
Yeah, honestly, we covered everything out that was in my notes. Me reaching out to members, that was a really important thing for me. I did that by the second day of my campaign, reaching out to members, talking to them through emails. With some of them responded to me, some of them gave me Google form advice. Once I DM'd them on Instagram, I talked to them on GroupMe. It's just, I truly just wanted to make sure I get connected with them before I just be saying, guys, vote for me. Guys, vote for me, da da da. Because I don't even think I included vote for me. I think it just said, I think in my emails and DMs and messages I sent to them, I think I just said, if you want to hear more or more in depth, go to the Instagram account or go to my link in my bio. Because truly, I don't want to just be the person that says, oh, give me your support now, and then I'll just forget about you later. No, I want to build the building bricks now. I want to give them the footing for that for my next term, and give them the idea of what I'm going to be one thing to do. Give me the idea of what I kind of like want to involve in my term. Because yes, I'll be the national secretary, but I feel like my main job is the communication with them, and so I need to have that communication level with them. I need to be like more on a personal level, not just say, "Oh, Akari, that's the national secretary." No, I don't want to be just the national secretary. I want to be, "Oh, I'm Akari. I can talk to him. I can text him. I can DM him. I can message him." Things like that.
Well, I'm going to ask you one last question, and this is the hardest question of the entire interview. You ready?
Scared.
Who do you think is going to start? Austin Mack or Keelan Russell?
If is this football? Wait,
Yeah.
you're gonna hate me. I can't even lie. I'm like the biggest LARP. I am not that involved in sports.
Okay.
And that's crazy. But as a Bama fan, I go for Bama for everything. But also, when I was at Thompson High School, I rooted for Thompson for everything. And when I was in Thompson Middle School, I went for Thompson Middle School for everything. I could go to Hoover High. I could go to Hoover High my senior year, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going for Hoover now." I am the biggest bandwagon. I go for whatever I'm at. I can't lie. So anything sports related, go Bama. Can't lie. But starting wise, I don't know those people.
Well, this is the thing. That's an honest answer, and I appreciate it. I mean,
Yeah.
I would much rather have an honest answer of, oh, I don't know who those two people are. I'll just say one name. Yeah, so I appreciate the honest answer.
Who do you think's going to start? Let me see that.
I'll probably go Austin Mack because he subbed in for Ty Simpson during the Rose Bowl the second half when Ty Simpson got hurt, and so
Okay,
he
we're
has a
moving
little
on to
bit of like playing experience. So
Okay.
he would probably be the starter. I'd have to say.
Okay. Who do you think's going to win the Iron Bowl?
Who's
I
going
know.
to Auburn? Of course. Well, this is the thing. Auburn has not won the Iron Bowl at Bryant Denny since 2010. I was a 6-year-old in the first grade. That's so depressing to say, but this is the thing. Whether it's whenever the Iron Bowl is played at Bryant Denny, I don't really have high expectations, unlike Jordan Hare.
Okay.
So I hate to say it, but Alabama will probably win that game. We'll see, though. We'll see.
I think they're going to win the game. Okay, so everyone that's listening, you heard it here first. A person who goes to Auburn said Auburn's going to win. Thank you.
We'll see, though. And this is the case where I would love to be wrong. Because this is the thing. If Auburn ends up winning, I'm going to take this, I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to like paste that everywhere. I'm going to say I was right. I'm going to say, look, I was wrong, and I'm so glad I was wrong. But yeah. Sports talk aside, is there anything else that you want to talk about, whether it be your campaign, anything else, or any other issues?
Honestly, this was a pretty in-depth interview. I feel like. Thank you so much for having me, Simon.
For sure. And War Eagle.